Good morning, dear listeners. Today we have a new episode of the No Age Ontology podcast series. This is the series about the seven laws of reality in more details. And we speak today about the principle of mind only in the Buddhist tradition. We already saw how in the Hermetic tradition the first principle, which is the absolute principle, is that all is mind, everything is mind. And there are different other spiritual traditions or ontological traditions of wisdom teachings which refer to the same principle in slightly different variations and depths. For example, the mind only Buddhist tradition, it's a school, it's a doctrine, also called the Doctrine of Consciousness, and its systems asserts that there are no such things as external phenomena. Mind as a non-dual self-aware consciousness is an absolute reality. It is founded upon the Buddha statement that all the three worlds are mind only. The three worlds are the three dimensions of existence. We're not going into that, but there is a lot of information in the book, The Seven Laws of Reality and Being, about all the different dimensions according to different traditions. And these Buddhist scriptures which speak about the mind only are like the Lankavatara Sutra and other sutras texts. So now let's to talk about the mind only. We can say that the visual cognition of the visual form of an object and the visual consciousness seeing this object come from and share the same source, which is the ground of karma of that particular perception. So these both data simultaneously from it, and it's part of a single cognition without coming from different sources. So one teacher of the mind only stated that in one of his words, it's awareness is mind which arises in the appearance of external objects, living beings, selves, and sense data. So it's nothing but consciousness or mind itself that appears externally to be things or living beings, and internally to be a self-perceiving entity. And since objects which appear to be out there are nothing but mind itself, what we regard as reality is an illusory manifestation of mind itself. So another important feature of this system is the concept of the 8 aspects of consciousness. So the 8 aspects of consciousness should be understood as different aspects of the mind or consciousness of an ordinary sentient being, and not as separate, unconnected entities, although their functions and shaping external and internal reality is different. So in general, the scriptures talk of five aspects of consciousness, which is 5 sensory consciousness plus a mental consciousness. But the mind only add 2 more aspects of consciousness, which is the 7th consciousness of the afflicted mind consciousness, of the ego-grasping, self-grasping aspect of consciousness, and the 8th consciousness, which is the storehouse of the ground of the source, where all the karmas, causes, and conditions, or causes, primary causes, are sort of stored or recorded in sense in the infinite mind of your being. So as long as there is grasping to an identity, all the actions that have been committed by that mind are recorded, and that's why karma goes from one life to the next. So anyway, this 8 consciousness is it's like the source of all kinds of consciousness of a sentient being. Every sentient being with a subjective and objective world can be reduced to its ground consciousness. And this consciousness is basically the sum of all motivated action and intentions from beginningless time in conditioned existence. Okay, so this is all for today podcast. We can add some statements, and we can conclude with the final aim of the follower of the Buddhist mind-only school, which is to put an end to the tendency of external projections of the ground consciousness. Let's say transforming this ground consciousness into the non-dual wisdom of enlightened mind, which is reality itself, beyond duality of subject and objects, and beyond time. So the ground consciousness, it's basically the mind of pure being that doesn't recognize itself, and therefore is veiled by this sort of ignorance of its own nature. And then from there, the whole existence, the samsara, or the wheel of conditioned existence, comes into being for that particular, for that individual mind of pure being. So more information can be found in the book, The Seven Laws of Reality, but also in the book No Age Ontology, sort of different information. And for today, that is all. Thank you for listening.